Today, we're gonna do something a little different. In the spirit of Halloween, we're gonna read some scary stories. See, I have one loaded up already. I'm just going through Reddit and finding, whatever scary stories it's on here. But we have one, I think it's a creepypasta. It's called, it doesn't really have a title, but it's, "My wife has been peeking at me from around the corners and behind furniture. My wife Lynn and I have been together for 6 years and married for 11 months. Our entire history together has been very normal, and never once have I noticed any weird behaviors or red flags. I can't stress enough how out of character this whole thing is for her. Lynn is very kind, intelligent, and thoughtful. She's always been the no-nonsense type of person. Being childish or trying to scare me is not something she'd normally do. She doesn't even like watching horror movies. When we first started dating, she agreed to watch The Shining with me because she knew how much I loved horror. She was so scared that she didn't even make it through half of the movie before we had to turn it off. She isn't into anything creepy and has never been into pranks. It's just not her cup of tea. And that's fine. But that's what's so strange about this. It's just so unlike her. So I'm guessing this pretty normal wife starts being creepy out of nowhere one day. That is strange. Like, no red flags before any of this, no? I should also add that she'd never had any mental health issues, and as far as I'm aware, it doesn't run in her family. I know some people are able to hide their mental health problems, but in the 6 years we've been together, I think I have seen some sort of sign. 2 months ago, I was in the kitchen making myself some coffee before work. I was running a bit late that morning, and I knew I wouldn't be able to make it to Dunkin' Donuts for my usual morning fix. I took a sip of my coffee as I hurried down the hall towards the front door, when I happened to notice Lynn peeking at me from around the corner ahead of me. I could only see her eyes, and a strand of her long, dark hair hanging against the wall. Yo, what the fuck? What are you, dating The Grudge? The rest of her body was concealed behind the corner. I nearly spilled my coffee when I saw her. I did burn the shit out of my lips. "Geez, Lynn," I said, wiping a few drops of coffee from my pants. "You scared the shit out of me." She immediately popped out of view like a little kid that had been caught. I heard her scurry off towards the living room, and by the time I got to the front door, she was out of sight. What the Yo, your wife is possessed, dog. Your wife is possessed. It was really weird and just totally out of character for her, like I said. But I also found it kind of funny that she was being more playful and a little less serious. I shouted that I loved her and called her a weirdo. As I shut the door behind me, I heard her laughing. Her behavior was a bit odd, and it certainly wasn't something to call a priest over. I forgot about it by lunch, and by the time I got home, she was her normal self. I didn't bring it up to her, neither did she, and life went on. Damn, okay. Yeah, maybe it's a one-off thing, I'd probably still ask my wife about it in the morning, but I don't have a wife, so what can I say? The next incident happened 3 days later. It was around 2 a.m. and I had 2 a.m.? It was around 2 a.m. and I had woken up to get a drink. I was standing at the kitchen island, jug of OJ in hand, when I felt a strong feeling that I was being watched. Yo, what the fuck? For whatever reason, I looked down at the floor and saw my wife's smiling face staring back. When you look down at the floor? She was peeking at me from the other side of the island, staring up at me with wide, unblinking eyes and grinning like the Cheshire cat. The fuck is that? Cheshire cat. Oh, this thing. Okay. I screamed. I'll admit it. Not out of irritation, but fear. For some reason at that moment, I was scared. At the sound of my scream, Lynn scuttled backwards out of my view, her hands and feet smacking the tile floor as she hurried out of the kitchen on all fours. I didn't run after her, or even yell after her. I just stood there frozen in shock, wondering what the fuck had possessed her to do that. Damn, dog, I would be raising an eyebrow. Do you guys live alone? You need to sleep with a fucking gun or something. It took me a little longer than I'd like to admit to go back upstairs, but eventually I did. When I got to the bedroom, Lynn was lying on her side asleep, or at least pretending to be. I stood there for a while, watching her breathing to be sure she was really asleep. Would you still hit that though? I had a feeling she might jump out at me the moment I got into bed, but she didn't. I climbed into bed and she didn't even move. Her breathing was soft and deep, and I was starting to wonder if I'd dreamt the whole thing. The next morning, I waited for her to come down for coffee, and after handing her a mug and kissing her cheek, I decided to ask her about it. "What was that about last night?" I asked, keeping my tone light so I didn't offend or embarrass her. She frowned over her cup of coffee, shaking her head like she had no clue what I was referring to. "You were peeking at me again, from over there," I said, pointing to the spot on the floor by the kitchen island. She followed my gaze, and when she looked back at me, she burst out laughing. She laughed so hard that I couldn't help but join her. "You creep me the fuck out sometimes, you know that?" I said. She giggled and set her cup on the counter and wrapped her arms around my neck. Huh? This girl just laughed at that? And then put her arms around your neck. Is that not a red flag? Like, you creep me out all the time, so I guess we're even, she teased. Wait, so does she know she's doing this? We said our goodbyes and left for work. As I drove, I kept thinking about how creepy it had been seeing her grinning at me from behind the island like that. The sound her hands made on the floor as she crawled away. I told myself she was just trying to be silly, just trying to join me in my love of all things horror. It's not like I was afraid of her, but it still didn't sit right with me. This is one long story. I don't have time to read all of this, but I'm just gonna skip to the end. Okay, not even. I mean, if you want to read the rest of this, I'll link it. But your wife is crazy, bro. Leave her. All right, this next one is called The Gray Fella's Watching Me. And I'm reading this one because it sounds like aliens, and I love anything to do with aliens. So I'm skipping a lot of stories for now because I got info on my house and possibly what's going on here. I'll start when we move back in. We moved out because my wife's dad is unbearable but needs taken care of. We moved back and slept in my mother-in-law's room. 10 minutes after lying down, my son and wife were asleep. It's dead quiet. 3:08 when I check the clock. Now that they're asleep, I try to sleep. As soon as I close my eyes, I hear padding on the wall to my right. I open my eyes, feel a cold breeze on my face, and there's padding almost like someone's walking on the walls all around me. There must have been at least 4 or 5 steps going off simultaneously. I waited for it to stop. It kept going, and I heard scratching here and there. I could tell it was happening on every wall because of where the sound came from and how loud it was. I can go freaking out because my wife and son both can't sleep easy after waking, and they are scared of these kind of things. I literally had to fall asleep to the stepping, which took at least 10 minutes. It didn't stop until I woke up for all I knew. Fast forward a few months later, we're in our room now. To my left, bathroom door. My right, wife's next to me. I peer at the door, hearing the other side of the door open. Both bedrooms were connected to the bathroom in the middle. Nothing's there. I blink and turn my head. As I turned, I saw a gray face with no mouth and sunken eyes, like it just had black holes for eyes. I had sleep paralysis numerous times before the next occurrence. This is another 3 months later, and my wife's mother moved in. All right, this dude needs some better grammar because I kind of don't understand what's going on other than there's some creepy gray thing opening your doors. I was walking to the front room door and I saw a huge 6'7" or so gray figure walking from the bathroom. I thought it was the old man, but he was the one asking for my help sitting on this couch. Okay, it seems like it's a continuation from another story, so I don't really have any context behind that. Oh, here's part 2. Not really interested. I'm gonna go to another one. This sounds scary. Shinjuku Hotel. Anything Asian related is probably a little freaky. Maybe that's just me because I'm Asian. I was in Tokyo for holiday. Stayed alone at a mid-range hotel in the heart of Shinjuku. It was a small room. You open the door to a narrow walkway with a toilet on the left and leads to a single-sized bed with a small table next to it and a wall-mounted TV in front of the bed. On the third night, as I was going to bed, I switched off all the lights from my bedside to go to sleep. Almost immediately, or a few seconds later, the television switched on its own. I was obviously freaked out and slept with the lights on that night. The only way to turn on the TV is via the remote control on the table or via the switch on the TV itself. You know what's funny? In every ghost story, something is always like, it's always like little inconveniences like that. Like the TV turns on, the light turns off or something, or a cup falls off the table. Like if you were a ghost, why are you doing that? Like it's just like the most annoying thing. I feel like if that happened in real life, you know, I would be just more annoyed than I am scared. Like, come on, man. You're really just gonna tip my cup over the table? Now I gotta go and pick it up. And like as a ghost, why would you want to, what are you even getting out of that? Like, what's the point? Like, are you literally just trying to be creepy? Like, I unplugged the TV from the main socket for the remaining stay at the hotel. I don't believe in ghosts, so what are some possible explanations? Was the TV switch somehow connected to the light switches? Could it have turned on by the person in the other room since the walls are quite thin? I mean, if it's just the TV and it's a one-off thing, like, come on, you can't just take that as a ghost. Probably just some electrical failure or wiring. That or the ghost was just a dickhead and just wanted to message you and turn on the TV. All right, this next one is called the spooky alarm. Woo! This happened like 20 minutes ago, but I feel like this just happened. This guy's first thought was, oh, let's go on r/true scary stories and put this on there. But I guess it's more fresh in your mind, so I don't know. This happened like 20 minutes ago, but I feel it deserves to be shared. So at about 5:30 a.m., I woke up to finish some homework and walked from my bedroom to the room next door called the computer room because our Mac is there. Okay, right off the bat, I already think this dude is crazy. Who wakes up at 5:30 to do homework? Oh, what? And then you write this story like 20 minutes later. Like the second I walk in, I hear this super creepy alarm start playing. It sounded like the end of the ABC spelling song sung by ghosts, which that music box instrumental. So I think you woke up to ghosts doing like making their mixtape, like a remix of the ABC song. Just plain creepy. It went on for maybe 5 to 7 seconds and I was shaking, screaming, "Oh my God, what is that?" Which woke up my sleeping parents. They checked every device in the house, but there were no alarms. And I could only see one possible cause to this mystery when I turned on my mic to see my previous work still saved and open. Along with that, a Spotify page with Halloween lo-fi music playing on mute. Oh my God, this dude was playing some Halloween music, some Halloween lo-fi music, and he thought it was ghosts. Cool. I checked the last couple of songs, but neither of them sound like what I heard. No ghost choir, leaving me with the same questions. Where did that spooky alarm come from? And why did it sound so close by? Ooh, spooky alarm. Well, hopefully you were spooked by those scary stories. Ooh. This is my Halloween special. And yeah, that's all I got.